This is 8 LEGO base plates, and in today's video, I'll be transforming them into a massive mall with 17 stores, including a full-size 2-story Target, an Apple store, and a massive food court. So anyways, grab your coffee because this is going to be a long one, and let's get started. Now before we can get started on the mall itself, we need to prepare the base plates for such a massive building. So let's use these scissors to cut it in half. Yeah, that's not going to work, so let's grab this knife to finish the cut. Now let's grab this hinge and add it to the base plates. This is so it can open and close. Let's also add this clip. This is so the base plates can stay together. Nice. Then I started to build the Mills plate, so the huge mall would be on a sturdy foundation. Also, while you're watching, keep your eye out for pink frogs and see how much you see by the end of the video, and comment your answer. Alright, here's the finished floor plan for the first floor. Right here will be a 2-story Target with a nice waterfall. In the middle is the entrance that will have a staircase along with 2 escalators. A few more stores over here in the back, a men's and women's bathroom right here, and also 2 elevators to the second floor. Over here I'm going to build the food court, and these 2 stores will be accessible from the outside. So yeah, let's get to building. First off, let's add these 2 columns to frame the entrance. Now let's get to building the actual walls. And while I'm building that, YouTube tells me that 98.9% of you guys are not actually subscribed. So please subscribe as it's free and it does help out the channel. Alright, let's get to throwing. And of course he doesn't land in the store. It's okay, we'll try again. And again. And again. And again. Okay, this really worked out better in my head. Okay, finally, at least a part of him landed in a store. And it looks like we're starting in the Target. So let's open this up and start by adding this automatic sliding door. Now let's tile off the floor. Okay, I did not expect that to work. So let's try again with the wall. Anyways, I guess I gotta build this manually. Alright, let's close this up and start working on the inside. First off, here's a fridge. It has a drink section. Next to that is the ice cream section, and the last section is a frozen food section. So let's add it in. And you can't forget about the door handles. Now next to the fridge, let's just add a bunch of random food products into this aisle. Now let's add these boxes to start on the produce section. Okay, now this technically isn't produce, but let's add these baguettes and croissants. Okay, here's some real produce, starting with this cabbage and also a carrot. And let's add these broccoli and these potatoes. Alright, by now it was getting very annoying to move all 8 base plates at the same time, so I took 4 of them off for now. Anyways, let's continue by adding this shelf and putting some mugs on top. Now I'm going to show you how to build the Stanley Cup. Just put this Technic pin in the cup and add this stud with a bar attached onto it. And there you go, that's a Stanley Cup. So let's add this red one. yellow one, and finally this pink one. Okay, I guess this is also a water bottle. And last but not least is my favorite water bottle, the watering can. Oh yeah. Now we could add these two self-checkouts. And by the way, those card readers are taillights from an F1 car. Okay, now let's move on to the Starbucks and add these counters. This blaster piece will be the faucet for the sink. Here's the espresso machine. These are the coffee blend bags that Starbucks sells. Above them, let's add the shelf and add the gift cards that go up to $500 for whatever reason. But who are we to judge, right? Okay, now here's the card reader and the ordering computer. And finally, this familiar looking Starbucks logo. Here's two custom shopping carts, so let's place them along with these minifigs. Now to finish the first floor of the Target, let's add this escalator along with the cart escalator, and of course their railings. Okay, now let's move on to the entry. In the middle will be the staircase, along with these two escalators. And their railings. Now let's tile off the floor. Yeah, when am I gonna learn that that's not gonna work? Alright, so let's actually tile off the floor. Okay, now let's move on to the Rolex store by adding this divider wall along with the back wall that has the logo. And we could add these white marble floors. Great, now let's add this counter. And also add these glass cases with the watches inside. Finally, two doors to close off the entire store. Next to that will be the Louis Vuitton store. So let's start by tiling off the floors. Now let's add these stands to hold the purses, and this checkout counter. Now let's add random overpriced purses that people really only wear for the logo. And this limited edition gold purse. Speaking of the logo, here's my attempt at the logo. Now let's finish the store by adding the doors. The next store is Auntie Anne's Pretzel Shop, and it was designed by my cousin Mark, and honestly it's pretty good, but if you don't like it, feel free to flame him in the comments. Next up is a Baskin Robbins, so let's add this wall with a massive ice cream on it, and let's tile off the floor. Let's also add this counter with a checkout and 8 flavors of gelato. And add the soft serve ice cream machine. And the stand with ice cream. Here's an employee. And here it is with the logo. Over here will be a Texas Roadhouse, so I expanded the foundation. Now let's start on the walls. And add this logo that took way too long to design. And finish the exterior. And there you go, the outside is done. So let's go on the inside and lay the floors. Let's add this grill to the kitchen, along with this counter with a case of steaks. So now let's add these benches, and also the tables. And that is the completed Texas Roadhouse. Right here will be a Cane's Chicken, my favorite fast food chicken spot. So let's start by adding this grill in the kitchen. Let's also add this lemonade and tea dispenser. And add this custom menu. Now let's add the checkout counter, along with this custom logo. And by the way, don't worry, this marker washes off fairly easily. Now let's tile off the floor in the food court. And let's add the 4 tables with a bunch of chairs. This is what it looks like, fully populated with hungry customers. In the back, I'm going to add this nice green living wall with a very creative mall name. And that is the completed food court. So now let's work on the bathrooms. Starting with the women's side by adding 4 stalls, let's also add 2 sinks, a mirror with 2 soap dispensers, and a towel dispenser. Now let's move into the men's side. Let's add 2 toilets and 3 urinals. Let's also add 2 stalls and 2 dividers between the urinals. Now we can add 2 sinks with another mirror and 2 more soap dispensers. And another paper towel dispenser. Moving on to the store that looks like a zebra blue over there, Sephora. Let's start by tiling off the floor. Let's also add a striped checkout counter and an employee wearing a striped shirt. Now let's add a striped shelf with random makeup stuff on it, and a back shelf with even more random makeup stuff on it. And of course it falls. Why do I even try this point? Anyway, let's clean it up. Finally, another striped shelf with even more random makeup stuff that I don't know the name And here's the completed Sephora. So now let's move on to the most generic toy store. Let's add a nice yellow and cyan color scheme. First off, let's add this table with a lot of action figures on it. And a table with these little guys. By the way, these were the characters me and my brothers used to use before we had minifigs. Now a matching yellow checkout counter. And in the middle, let's add the shelf with plushies and toy cars on it. Finally, this front wall with a nice toy store sign. And just like that, all the stores on the first floor are done. But there was an empty corner in the back, so let's add some vending machines. And also an ATM machine. And there you go, the downstairs is complete. So now let's add these 2 elevators and make our way upstairs. Great, we made it. So let's start. Over here in the middle, let's add this roof and continue the columns. What's this doing here? And what is all this? Hey you, go clean this up. Alright, let's finish cleaning up their mess. And let's start on the walls. Now we could add these street lamps outside so it wouldn't be dark at night. Alright, let's start tiling off the upstairs. And if you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button as it helps out a ton and you won't miss any future uploads. Okay, I'm going to start on the second floor of the Target by tiling off all the floors in a nice even coat of dark gray. Okay, now that that's done, we can start by adding this cart corral. So let's put some carts inside. In the front corner, let's add this hygiene aisle. And over here will be the apparel section. So let's add a few tables with some shirts and pants on them. Along with this mannequin. This aisle will have laundry detergent, toilet paper, kitchen stuff, and a bunch of other random products. Finally, let's add the self-checkouts. And this impulse buy section that has gift cards and a bunch of other snacks. And finally, this completes the Target. So let's move on to the F1 store. let's add this red racing stripe going through the floor. On this wall, let's add 2 hang dowels with every team's merch. Along with this checkout counter and this employee. This thing's gonna be the display for the F1 car. So let's add this stand and the F1 car itself. Here's a trophy case with the first place trophy. And over here is every compound of racing tire. And that completes the F1 merch store. Now we can move on to the Adidas store. I started by tiling off the floor in white, but making sure to leave 3 black stripes. I'll use these pieces to make the iconic 3 stripes logo. And the same one, but in black on the inside. Here's a hang dowel with sweatpants on it, along with this shoe rack. And finally, this hang dowel with hoodies on it. The checkout desk has 3 stripes on it, along with this cash register and this card reader. And that completes the Adidas store. Now we can move on to Bath & Body Works. It's gonna get a nice wooden floor. I'm gonna remove this wall so it'd be easier for you guys to see what I'm putting in. Starting with this shelf that has a bunch of different soap dispensers on it. Next is another shelf, except it has a bunch of different hand soaps on it. Now we can finally add the wall back in. And add this wall that has a sink. This is to test out the different types of soaps. Finally, we could add the checkout counter. And that completes the Bath & Body Works, which also finishes half of the upstairs. So let's move on to the other side, starting with Dave & Buster's. It's gonna get dark gray floors. In the first corner, let's add an arcade machine, along with this basketball hoop, and this awesome claw machine. Over here, let's add some bar stools to start on the kitchen. Speaking of the kitchen, let's add this table to eat at, and finally this back table that has some TVs on it. And that basically completes the Dave & Buster's. But we need to place the logo over here. Now we can move on to one of my favorite stores, the Apple Store. So let's start by tiling off the floors. Over here will be a logo that took way too long to design. Moving on, here's the table with Apple Vision Pro. Well, that's 3.5k down the drain. Anyway, here's the shelves with the AirPods, chargers, and other accessories. Moving on to the other side, let's add this table and the table for the Apple Watches. And this wall for cases. Move this out of the way for now, and let's add my table with the custom iPhone 17s. So let's add them to the middle of the store. And we can add this back. And this is the finished Apple Store. Great, just got my brand new iPhone 17 from this Apple Store. And now we can start to work on the AMC movie theater, starting by laying down a nice tan carpet everywhere. Next, let's add the screen, and it looks like they're watching the F1 movie. Here's the red movie theater chairs. Move this out of the way, and here's the freezer with popsicles. Along with this counter that has popcorn buckets. And we can add the entrance back. In the back corner will be a soda fountain all alone. And finally, we could add this AMC logo. So let's move on to my favorite store in the mall, the Lego store. So let's tile off the floor in a nice yellow. Now we can add the pick-a-pick wall that has a few shelves next to it. Here's the checkout counter with the iconic red 2x4 brick. On display will be the Titanic Lego set next to the entrance. And finally, a massive shelf with a bunch of Lego sets on it. And the Lego logo to finish off the entire store. Now we can go to the Gap store. So let's add a nice hardwood floor. Okay, here's two mannequins, so let's add them into the display cases. Yeah, this shouldn't take this long. Above the mannequins will be this Gap logo. Here's a massive shelf with all the jeans you need. And another massive shelf with a bunch of different types of shirt. And a table in the middle with even more clothes. And finally, to finish off the store, let's add a checkout desk. And another logo over here. And that's the second floor almost done. Keyword almost. So let's finish by adding this candy cart to fill up that space quite nicely. So let's bring the first floor and add the second floor on top. Let's also add all the minifigs to populate the downstairs. And by the way, keep counting the frogs because I'll be waiting for an answer at the end. Now for the upstairs, let's add this shopping cart full of glizzies and this guy buying them. Let's also add Peter B. Parker and his baby, and this kid annoying her mom to buy her Takis. And her mom actually buying responsible things, how dare she? Moving on, let's add this rich looking guy into the F1 store. In the Adidas store, let's add Gwen and Miles buying new shoes. I almost forgot to add Lewis Hamilton, the F1 store, so let's add him. Let's add this guy to the Bath & Body Works, because he needs to buy shampoo to maintain his luscious hair. Let's also add Peely to the escalator. And this guy who somehow managed to trip on thin air, negative or not gonna lie. Now we can add Tails gambling away his life savings at the claw machine at David Buster's. Let's add this guy just walking around. This guy can go buy himself a new iPhone. And so can she. Let's put Spider-Man to enjoy the F1 movie. And Jonesy could join him. Amy's gonna work the concession stand. And this imposter Peely can go and buy the Titanic Lego set that he knows he can't afford. Meowscles could go look for new jeans at Gap. Spider-Punk can go over here. And Miguel O'Hare. Wait a second, what's that jaw? Anyways, let's add the security guard in the corner, and no, don't ask me how they go downstairs. Alright, here's the first roof with a lot of frogs, just saying. A few smaller roofs, and another roof in the back. And this roof with even more frogs. And a small gray roof. And finally, to finish the entire mall, this wooden roof at the very top. And just like that, we are finished. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment lemon to confuse people who didn't watch the video all the way through. Also, comment how many frogs you saw throughout the video. So anyways, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, remember that Jesus loves you. God bless, and see you in the next one.